Hi, welcome to AFTV. I've got Robbie with me. We've lost to Man United. I think it's 5-3, 5-4 in penalties, but 1-1 over the 120 minutes. We're out of the FA Cup is the main thing you need to know, Robbie. And you spoke to loads of fans, a lot of passion from a lot of fans, a lot of anger, frustration.
A lot of anger today.
Is it justified? Or is it you keep asking, is it overreacting? I mean, who's the person to blame? Is it the ownership?
If
is
you're
it
talking
manager?
about sacking the manager after losing this game, it's an overreaction.
I agree.
But if you're angry at the lack of potency that we have up front, it's justified. You know what I mean? Every fan's been saying it since the summer that we should have signed a striker, and we didn't sign a striker. So if you as the manager decide that, no, I'm happy with what I got, this is enough, I don't need a striker, and then you get what we've seen in the last two games where we've missed easy chances. Easy.
Yep.
Right? Then when that flat comes and people start saying, why did you not sign a striker? Do you not see now why we were telling you that? They're justified.
Has he been backed? Because my thing is, I look at it and say he's been backed, right, in my opinion. Or is he protecting the owners by saying, well, I wanted to...
It's the manager's decision not to sign a striker, right? There was talk about players like Victor Gyökeres in the summer. You know me, I do Transfer Daily every day. There was talk about various strikers in the summer, and we chose not to sign one because he thinks that it's okay with what we got. So when we get days like today, and we get days like the other night, and we get days like Everton, where we create chances, and we get days like Fulham, where we create chances, and you see Raul Jimenez get one chance, bang. You see, then you're gonna be open up to the criticism, and you deserve it. You deserve it. And, you know, we lost Saka, right, at the end of December. The January transfer window's open. I know it's difficult. It is difficult to get players in the January transfer window.
Is that an excuse, or is
that
a fair reason?
The lack of movement at the moment has baffled me, because I looked at January, I looked at the games that were coming up, I looked at the frequency of games, literally every 3 days, and I'm like, Saka's out. He ain't coming back for a long time. We must go into this market, number one, to freshen it up. Number two, we need a striker. Go and do it, or go and at least attempt to do it. Get aggressive with some targets, and they haven't done it. So when days like this happen, you deserve the criticism. Hold on 1 second, bro. I'll get to you because you know what? United, you know, on United, listen, well done to them. They're through to the next round of the FA Cup. But they just came to defend, right? But
can you blame them? They went down to 10 men, Robbie.
No, even before the 10 men. That's all they did. And it's annoying for us, right? Because basically we made one error and they punished us for it.
This is elite level football.
That is elite level football, and you know what I mean, and we got punished for it. But if he's going to come over here running up his mouth, you know, like they've won the FA Cup.
You can't blame them though, because you're right. They came in and sat to defend, but Newcastle came in the other day. They came in and attacked. They beat us.
It's the blueprint, though, isn't it? It's the blueprint because, you know, teams are going law of averages. We could possibly get a result because they ain't got the killer up front, and that's what's happening at the moment. And this is why the manager has to take a lot of the flack for this. Has to. This is your guy, Havertz.
And he's going to start against Tottenham as well.
Well, there's no one else.
That's
Jesus is out today. Exactly. You know what I mean?
There's no one else.
If now, after Jesus going down today, which looks like a bad injury, you know, as soon as I saw the stretcher coming on, I felt sorry for him. You know what I mean? The amount of injuries that he's suffered. If he's now out for a long period of time and we don't buy a striker in January, the chances of winning anything are next to zero, in my opinion. Yeah, we didn't win it last year without a striker. How are we going to do it this year?
They have to bring in a striker. Here's one thing that could the ownership, or say Josh, could he say, look, we gave you 65 million for Havertz. You put him on the highest paid player, 275 a week. Jesus is on 250 a week. Could they say, Arteta, why have you not made that?
A lot of people are coming here and blaming the ownership.
Yeah, I don't. That one has baffled me a little bit.
Listen, it's the decisions of the players that have been signed. Yep. A lot of money's been spent. Yep. Are down to Mikel Arteta and Edu was doing it at the top. It's their decision.
I agree.
Right? He decided to get Havertz and not a striker. Right? So I don't blame them for that. That's you know what I mean. The owners, they don't pick the players. Yeah. They don't
leave
decide
that to
on the players. They say, what do you need? Here's the money to go and do it.
I agree.
And that's what they've gone and done. So to me, I can't blame the owners for the players that have been selected. And on the whole, we've built a very, very good side. A very, very good side. But the one thing that's been lacking, two things I've always said, right? We need a backup to Saka, and we need a striker. And we haven't done it.
Yeah,
and now chickens are coming home to roost in those positions because you're seeing, should have won that game today.
100%.
How many more chances you're going to have in a game and miss and then feel sorry for yourself at the end? We should have won the game today. We should have the other night. All right, maybe not necessarily won that game. We shouldn't have lost that game the other night with the amount of chances we had. It's only ourselves to blame. And if you've got a player that's not clinical, because he's not clinical, he's a good player, very good player. He's probably like what you call a second striker, but he's not an out-and-out killer.
Not the highest paid player that you have to rely on. I think it's a bit crazy. But are you getting, as fans, what was it like in there? Because it seemed like every time the cameras cut into players, they're trying to gee up the crowd. Is that justified? Is that fair? Because I feel like I looked at that performance and said, listen, it's up to you lot to.
It's an FA Cup game. It's against Manchester United. Listen, they can. I have no problem with players trying to gee up the crowd, trying to, play on the emotion. There's nothing wrong with that. But when those chances come, you got to put them chances away.
Oh, give us something to celebrate, innit? Yeah.
You got to put the chances away, man. We can't be missing these easy chances game after. Now, this is how many games now?
Okay,
how many games? If I go right back to when we even played Bournemouth and we were down to 10 men, that chance at Martinelli had, easy chance, just hits it straight at the goalkeeper. The other night, he's through, hits the post, goes too early, not clinical. Right, Havertz the other night, Havertz today,
Gabriel.
Rice today, header it down. We're so badly off form at the moment. It's unbelievable. And we have to bounce back against Tottenham. It's a game that could turn our season around, really.
Well, let's do that.
And it could also ruin our season.
It could. This week has proven to be maybe one of the most difficult weeks Arsenal have faced. Let me ask you this, manager. You kind of said it, so no to sacking now, but understand fans if it's at the end of the season, if depending on obviously.
I understand the frustration of the fans. It's the FA Cup. We're going out earlier this FA Cup every single year. We're at home today. So the advantage is with us. We're at home, right? And we just weren't good enough today in an attacking sense. We had enough chances. You've got to win them games, man. You can't have them chances and then a team's barely had a kick. And you end up, as well, they're trying to take it to penalties and you can't blame them. They're down to 10 men. You've got to go out there and kill off that team.
You haven't mentioned many things within the game. There's 10 men to Man United. The referee, I would say, was more on our side. It wasn't a penalty in my opinion. They also had that week that we got. Martin Odegaard missed. No Ahmad. You said before the game as well, you said, well, they're not starting Ahmad. He was shocked, and they still ended up with the result.
Yeah, and they, in a way you can say they deserved it. We've missed our chances. Their game plans work. Basically, sit in, defend, be solid. Let's not give anything away. They've got a bit, lucky that we haven't buried easy chances and missed the penalty. It's their lucky day and they've got the win.
So there's no excuses on today for Arsenal sense.
No. How can you make an excuse when you miss a penalty? That's nothing to do with.
Did you question why he took it? Why did he take it?
Because Odegaard takes penalties.
But it seemed like he was struggling with an injury just before we got the penalty. At half time, his ankle, he was hobbling around the pitch. Havertz is a striker on the pitch.
Odegaard takes penalties. And Havertz missed this, by the way, right?
Fair.
The only other one you could have said maybe Jorginho, but Odegaard, it's either Saka or Odegaard. I'm sure Odegaard scored a penalty already this season.
I think he might have scored one, but I questioned him stepping up.
Odegaard takes penalties. There's no excuses. It's from 6 years, everyone. You got to score that.
Right, let me.
No one's fault apart from us.
Yeah.
No one's self-inflicted defeat almost today, because it's self-inflicted. It's a penalty.
It's 100%, bro.
Bury the penalty, right? Do you think? So to me, it's self-inflicted today. It's nobody's fault apart from us. Can't blame no one.
It's true. I think I was lucky to get the penalty. Let me end by asking you this, Rob. Does it feel like fans are frustrated because they know how this story plays out? You're full of Arsenal your whole life, Rob. You kind of, deep down, you're thinking, it seems like the same old stories happening again.
Let me tell you why the level of frustration is heightened, right? You can lose to Manchester United, you can lose to Newcastle, you can lose to anybody at home. You can lose games, right? The only time I've seen my team not lose a game in the seasons when we went invincible. You can lose games, right? But where the frustration, the extreme frustration comes from right now is the fact that we all know we need a striker. We haven't done it. We're in January. And at the moment, it seems like, now, listen, things can be going on behind the scenes. We don't know. But at the moment, it seems like we're dragging our heels when it coming to bringing in some of those big signings that every single fan knows we need. Every single fan, whether they're in an executive box or they're down there in the cheapest seats, they know that Arsenal need a striker and they know that Arsenal need forward players. And at the moment, nothing has been done. Even with injuries piling up. Saka's out. No movement. Jesus is out now. No, and even
Timber, Calafiori, there's loads of players out.
Even before those two went down, we needed that. Even if Saka was fit and Jesus is fit, we needed that. And that is why fans are very, very frustrated. They're like, can't these guys see what we need? And that is why when you get a defeat now, even if we'd have won the game today, and fans came out, if I'd have asked them, what do you reckon we need in January? Every single one of them would have said we need a striker. If we'd have won the last two games, 5-0 and 5-0, and I said, well, January transfer window, you reckon we're all right? Everyone would have said, nah, we still need a striker. And that is why the frustration is heightened. Yeah. You know?
Does it add the fact that we're out of basically 2 cups with the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup? I know we're still in the Carabao Cup, but we're just about hanging on. Champions League seems quite unrealistic. We never know. But Premier League seems like it's a tough ask. I think that also must add to the frustration.
If we don't sign a striker, we're out of the league as well. If we don't sign a striker, forward player, we're out of that.
So right now you think we're still in the league?
And if we don't sign a striker or a forward player, we're not going to win the Champions League. Simple. And you know, I think it's a pretty obvious thing. So if we get to the end of January and those don't come in, do you think we're going to, let's be real, you have to be honest.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You ain't winning nothing with that attack.
But some fans say we're not now winning anything. From what they see.
Listen, you can still listen. Remember last season, we didn't start the season well, and then it was the second. Actually, we went out of the FA Cup. Went to Dubai, freshened up, came back, went going like a train. So there is a possibility to salvage this, but this season they must go out and strengthen those forward areas. That attack at the moment is not good enough to win the league.